Hi, everybody. This is Fred Bruin with Remax Parkside Real Estate. Today is January 14th, Thursday, and I'd like to talk with you today a little bit about forbearance and what ramifications we may have down the road as far as foreclosures. So let's get right into it. Share my screen, pull up my PowerPoint. Will forbearance plans lead to a tsunami of foreclosures? That's been a big question over the last few months. But what is forbearance? Let's review. The federal government passed the CARES Act of 2020 in an effort to provide relief to citizens and businesses adversely affected by the pandemic. Part of the CARES Act allows homeowners with mortgages who are experiencing financial difficulty to defer mortgage payments for 2 6-month periods. They're not forgiving any debt, they're just working out a plan, not making payments, deferring them until some point in the future. Nearly 6.5 million homeowners were granted forbearance. What will happen to these homeowners' mortgages when the forbearance period expires? That's a concern. So let's look and see where we are at now. The most recent information I have from mid-November, 6.5 million families granted forbearance. 2.25 million are in their second 6-month period. 2.5 million were in forbearance, but have since begun making regular payments again and are no longer in a forbearance. 625,000 paid off their mortgage. Fantastic. They're no longer at risk of foreclosure. That's 48% of that 6.5 million people are no longer in a crucial situation with their forbearance or their mortgage. 500,000 are in their original 6-month period. 434,000 have expired out of the 2 periods and are delinquent and in some type of loss mitigation, which means negotiating with their mortgagor, change loan terms, what have you. And then 116,000 have expired and are delinquent. So we may see some foreclosures coming out of this, but the reason I don't think we're going to see many foreclosures is because of the strength of the real estate market in general. And what I mean by that is, well, let's take a look. This is homeowners' equity value. 42% of homeowners out there own their home free and clear. So they're not even in the picture, okay? So the other is at 58%, 16.6% have 60 to 99% equity. And you can see how the numbers go. Only 7.3% of all homeowners out there have less than 10% equity in their home. Certainly, 42% of them, that doesn't have any effect on them. So let's say this is 12 or 13% of those people with forbearances that have 10% or less equity in their home. But this strong equity on the remaining 88, 86% of mortgagees out there have great equity position. How did we get there? Because it wasn't like this in 2005 and 2006. Well, this is the Mortgage Credit Availability Index. It's produced by the Mortgage Bankers Association, and the index is how easy or difficult is it to get a mortgage. Back in June of 2004, the index was just under 400. And that's about where the long history is, at about 375 points. As you can see, it quickly got easier and really easy to get a mortgage back June of 2006. 868 was that mark there when the bubble broke. And then it got more and more difficult to get a mortgage. So it's just over 100 here. And you can see that it's been that way. Good, sound, solid lending practices, making it I don't want to say difficult to get a mortgage, but more stringent. Today we're at 181. So the norm is about 375. We got into trouble when we were at 867. Today we have very strong equity out there. Homeowners have lots of equity in the bank because of these solid lending practices. And just a side note, back prior to the bubble burst, people were using their equity as an ATM machine to buy vacations and jet skis and RVs and vacations, all that kind of stuff. Today, those cash out refis are at 25% of what they were just prior to the bubble burst back in 2008. So people have learned how to manage their equity better as well. The other side of the coin is the supply side. Um, this is year over year change in listings. You can see we began the year 15% lower than we were with the number of listings a year earlier. The green line is new listings coming on the market. And we can see that we haven't been getting the same number of new listings as we were a year ago, but it has been improving on a slightly improving scale here. But this orange line indicates that the total number of listings, we're absorbing those new listings as they're coming into the market. So there's strong buyer demand out there. We know that. And it's certainly reflected here in that new listings coming on the market, a low inventory level, and those new listings are getting absorbed as we're losing inventory, quite frankly. So what are the experts saying? Michael Sklar, president of Collateral Analytics, he says, we may very well see a meaningful increase in the number of homes listed for sale as the borrowers choose to sell at what is arguably an intermediate top in the market and downsize to more affordable homes rather than face foreclosure. So he's saying that if they can't get out of the trouble, they're going to just list their homes for sale rather than go to foreclosure and save their credit. Odetta Kushi, and she says this very well, chief economist at First American. She says the foreclosure process is based on two steps. First, the homebuyer suffers an adverse economic shock, leading to the homeowner becoming delinquent on their mortgage. Well, that shock was the pandemic and the loss of a job or two in the household, right? However, delinquency by itself is not enough to send a mortgage into foreclosure. With enough equity, a homeowner has the option of selling their home or tapping into their equity through a refi to help weather the economic shock. It is a lack of sufficient equity, the second component of the dual trigger that causes a serious delinquency to become a foreclosure. So she doesn't see the two components out there that would lead to more foreclosures. And Don Layton, senior industry fellow at the Joint Center for Housing Studies at Harvard University. With a greater cushion of equity, troubled homeowners have dramatically improved options, a greater ability to access funding, i.e. a home equity line of credit, to keep paying monthly expenses until family finances might recover, improved ability to qualify and support a loan modification, and if push comes to shove, the ability to sell the home and monetize their increased net worth while reducing monthly payment obligations. That's a pretty big mouthful. So what he's saying there, there's enough equity there for them to sell their house, pay the transaction costs, and put some money in the bank and begin again. So what should lenders and servicers expect? A large number of foreclosures or only a modest increase? And Don believes the latter, modest increase in foreclosures. So with today's positive equity situation, many homeowners will be able to use a loan, modification or refi to stay in their homes. If not, some will go to foreclosure, unfortunately, but most will be able to sell and walk away with their equity. Any foreclosure increase will likely be quickly absorbed by the market. It will not lead to any price declines. So as we saw earlier, we don't have enough inventory. If we do see some foreclosures coming into the market, Lawrence Yoon, the chief economist at the National Association of Realtors, believe that they'll be absorbed quickly and it won't lead to any price decline. Just a reminder that my winter 2021 home seller guide and home buyer's guide are available. You can call me or text me at this number to get a copy. You can go to my website, for the links to download the copies of these great guides. Very helpful. So, bottom line, yeah, forbearance is a situation that most people don't want to be in, but it was a necessary assistance for people who suffered that financial shock because of the pandemic and lost their job. It seems to be working well, and based on the numbers that we have so far, it doesn't appear that we're going to have any tsunami of foreclosures hitting the market. The few unfortunate folks that do end up foreclosing, those will absorb quickly, won't affect pricing. And if they just can't recover out of that financial difficulty, they have enough equity to sell their home. That's going to actually be a gift to the market because we are so short on inventory that I see some of these filtering into the market in the near future, raising the inventory levels slightly and improving the market for buyers. Okay, well, that's all I have for today. I'm sorry I got a little windy on that one. Thank you for joining me. Look forward to seeing you again. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to give me a call. And if you're looking at this on YouTube, please subscribe and be notified when I'm posting some informational videos. Thank you.